When you have surgery, when the doctor tells you, and you feel better about it, you want to get the surgery, you get a lumpectomy, or you get a Whipple procedure for your pancreatic or something, partial gastrectomy, or whatever you get, a partial colectomy or something like that. You get that. And then they say they want to do radiation. So you say to them, why are you doing it? Was that a successful surgery? Did you get everything? If the doctor says, yeah, we got it. We got clean margins. We got it all. This is just to be safe. Okay. So what I want you to understand is that just so you know, what are cancer stem cells? Cancer stem cells are the cells. They make up maybe 1% up to 3% of a tumor. Those are the only cells that can become a new tumor. All the other cells in a tumor cannot metastasize, cannot spread. And remember, 90% of the people who don't die from treatment will die from the metastasis, not the primary tumor. And that's because of the stem cells. So what they call treatment failures are due to the cancer stem cells. And the cancer stem cells, why? Because cancer stem cells, like all stem cells, not only can go through normal Krebs cycle, efficient mitochondrial production of energy. They also can eat fat, burn fat. They can live on ketones. They can live on other fats as well. So they're very metabolically plastic, very metabolically able to adapt. Why? Because these are a stem cell is a cell that's going to survive. Like in the beginning, when you are just a one cell, when you're a one cell, and then it's called a blastocyst, and it starts to divide, and you've got a few cells and all that sort of thing. And then you've got what's called a little ball. They're called a morula. These are embryonic stem cells, and these embryonic stem cells, each one of them can become the whole human being. They have the potential. Okay, so they're called pluripotential. Okay, and then by the time they become adult stem cells, what do we have now? We have in our body, my lung cells have it, the heart cells have it. They're adult stem cells. Those are pretty much already going to be just lung. The ones in the lung are going to be lung. The ones in the fat are going to be fat. The ones it's kind of like, now you can modify that. And that's what we do with stem cell therapies. You give different growth factors, and you can actually modify what the stem cells will do. But without that, that's what they'll be. But anyway, embryonic stem cells and cancer stem cells have a lot in common by their surface markers and all that sort of thing. So it's the cancer stem cells that spread. So here's a classical definition. Cancer stem cells are a type of adult or progenitor cell found in cancer. These cells generally represent just 1 to 3% of all cells in the tumor, but they are the only cells with the ability to regenerate malignant cells and fuel the growth of the cancer. This is standard from one of the articles I read. Okay. Now, what I want you to understand here is that at UCLA, this was done, and this was way back in 2012 at UCLA. They took breast cancer stem cells. They said breast cancer stem cells, the sole source of tumor recurrence, the only source of tumor recurrence, are known to be resistant to radiation therapy and do not respond to chemotherapy. Now, once again, let me say that again. This is published data. Okay, once again, please listen. Breast cancer stem cells, the sole source of tumor recurrence, are known to be resistant to radiation therapy and don't respond to chemotherapy. So then what they did was they studied that, and they wanted to figure out why. So the researchers at UCLA, Department of Radiation Oncology at the Johnson Comprehensive Cancer Center, report for the first time that radiation treatment, despite killing half of all tumor cells during every treatment, transforms other cells into treatment-resistant breast cancer stem cells. UCLA Department of Radiation Oncology at UCLA's Johnson Comprehensive Cancer Center report that for the first time that radiation, the first time they reported it, it's the first time it's been reported that radiation treatment, despite killing half the tumor cells during every treatment, transforms other cancer cells into treatment-resistant breast cancer stem cells. Quote, they say, "We found that these induced breast cancer stem cells were generated by radiation-induced activation of the same cellular pathways used to reprogram normal cells into induced pluripotential stem cells in regenerative medicine," said Dr. Pojunk, who also is a scientist with the Eli and Edith Broad Center of Regenerative Medicine at UCLA. It was remarkable that these breast cancers used the same reprogramming pathways to fight back against the radiation treatment. Okay, now the team also found, this team at UCLA also found that these reprogrammed breast cancer stem cells had a 30-fold increased ability to form tumors compared to the non-irradiated breast cancer cells from which they originated. So do you want to get radiation? Do you want to get radiation? Are you going to show this to your surgeon? You're going to show this to your medical oncologist? Look for a study, UCLA 2012. I didn't write down the name here, but UCLA Department of Radiation Oncology, okay?